At 62, Joanne wasn't trying to live forever. She just wanted to stay clear, sharp, and independent for as long as she could. She had watched her mother struggle with memory loss in her 70s. It started with misplaced keys, then lost names, then lost pieces of herself. Joanne made a promise that day. If there's anything I can do to protect my mind, I'll do it, before it's too late. What she didn't expect was that the best protection wouldn't come in a pill bottle. It would come from small, quiet habits, woven into her day, repeated without fuss, but powerful over time. Science is clear. The brain doesn't just age with time. It responds to how you treat it. And after 60, the little things matter more than ever. In this video, we'll explore 7 habits, simple, proven, and often overlooked, that help protect the brain after 60. Each one will be shown through the story of someone like Joanne, someone who chose not to wait for problems to begin. You won't find miracle cures or flashy trends here, just real habits, real people, and real impact. Let's begin with a habit that starts before your first sip of coffee. Frank had always been a night owl, but after turning 65, he noticed his mornings felt sluggish. He struggled to focus, felt foggy until noon, and sometimes forgot what he was doing halfway through a task. His doctor suggested a supplement, but his son had another idea. "Dad, what if you just stepped outside every morning? First thing. No phone, no sunglasses, just light." So Frank tried it. 5 minutes, then 10. He sat on his porch, let the sunlight hit his face, and just breathed. After a week, he noticed something odd. He was waking up before his alarm. He felt more alert. His thoughts came easier. His mood was lighter. It wasn't magic. It was circadian rhythm. Morning sunlight, especially within the first hour of waking, helps regulate your body's internal clock, balance hormones, and boost neurotransmitters like serotonin. This directly improves sleep, mood, and mental clarity, and better sleep equals better brain protection. In older adults, light exposure is even more critical. As we age, we produce less melatonin, and our sleep-wake cycles become fragile. Without strong light signals, the brain gets confused, leading to poor sleep, fatigue, and cognitive fog. Frank made it a ritual. Every morning after breakfast, he sat outside for 15 minutes. No sunglasses, no distractions. Over time, his energy returned. He started remembering appointments again. He didn't feel off anymore, just himself. And all it took was sunlight. Harold was never a fitness guy. He wasn't interested in gyms, didn't like yoga, and thought cardio was something for athletes. But after turning 67, he began to notice something troubling. He was forgetting little things. His thoughts felt jumbled, and sometimes during conversations, he'd lose his train of thought mid-sentence. It scared him. His father had developed dementia at 70. At first, Harold considered supplements, then brain games, but nothing stuck. Until one morning, after seeing a neighbor walking briskly past his window, he thought, if he can do it, maybe I should try. He started small, just a walk around the block after breakfast, then again in the evening, if he felt like it. It wasn't long before something shifted. He didn't just feel more physically energized. His mind felt lighter, more alert, more alive. What Harold didn't know was that walking is one of the most powerful brain boosters available, especially after 60. Regular walking increases blood flow to the brain, improving oxygen delivery and nutrient circulation. It helps stimulate neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells, and it reduces stress, lowers inflammation, and improves sleep, all of which are critical to brain function. Even short walks, 10 to 15 minutes, done consistently, have been shown to preserve memory, slow age-related brain shrinkage, and protect executive function. One study from the University of Illinois found that older adults who walked regularly had larger hippocampi, the brain's memory center, compared to those who didn't. Harold didn't read the study. He didn't need to. He felt the difference. He was more present, more confident in conversations. His wife noticed. His grandkids noticed. And so did he. Now, his walk isn't just part of his day, it's part of his brain care. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for your mind is simply move your feet. Diane was 70, recently widowed, and living alone for the first time in decades. Her days were quiet, too quiet. She still called her daughter once a week, exchanged polite words with neighbors, but most of her hours passed in silence. She didn't feel sad, just dull. Her thoughts felt slower, her motivation faded, and more than once she found herself searching for the right word and coming up blank. A friend invited her to a weekly coffee group at the local library. Diane hesitated. "I'm not really social anymore," she said. But one Thursday morning she went. At first she just listened, but then she started talking about her late husband, her memories, her opinions on the news. She laughed, she disagreed, she connected, and by the end of the hour she felt awake. What Diane didn't realize was that meaningful conversation is brain training. It exercises language, memory, emotion, logic, and social cognition, all in real time. Unlike scrolling through a screen or watching TV, conversation requires the brain to respond, recall, reflect, and relate. Studies have shown that older adults who engage in regular face-to-face social interaction are significantly less likely to experience cognitive decline. Even brief conversations can activate multiple areas of the brain simultaneously, improving mental flexibility and emotional resilience. And here's the key: not just any talking, meaningful talking, sharing stories, expressing feelings, debating ideas. These are the moments that keep the brain engaged and connected. Diane kept going back. The coffee group became her weekly anchor. Her thinking grew sharper. She started reading more, just so she had something new to talk about. And she found herself smiling more than she had in months. The brain doesn't just need quiet. It needs voices, human ones. Connection isn't just emotional fuel, it's mental exercise. And for Diane, a simple conversation was the start of her comeback. Leonard had always considered himself all logic, no art. He was a retired engineer, good with numbers, great with tools, but never one for painting, music, or anything creative. But after retirement, his days felt empty. He read the paper, took his vitamins, sat on the porch. But something inside him felt still, like a part of his mind wasn't being used. Then one weekend, his granddaughter brought over a beginner wood carving kit. "Let's make something," she smiled. At first he laughed. "I don't do arts and crafts." But she insisted, and slowly Leonard's hands began to move. It wasn't perfect, but it was focused, quiet, meditative. That night he slept better. The next day he carved again. A week turned into a month. And soon Leonard had a small collection of tiny animal carvings sitting by the window, each one more detailed than the last. What Leonard didn't know was this: creative, hands-on activities are brain-protective power tools. Whether it's woodwork, knitting, painting, or even adult coloring books, using your hands to create activates regions of the brain linked to motor coordination, memory, problem-solving, and emotional regulation. In older adults, these activities stimulate neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections. They also lower stress, reduce rumination, and build a sense of purpose. A 2021 study found that seniors who regularly engaged in crafts had better memory retention and slower cognitive decline compared to those who didn't. Leonard didn't read the study. He just knew he felt clearer, calmer, and every new carving became a small victory. Now he shares them at the local community center. He's not just making animals. He's making new neural pathways. Because when you create something with your hands, you're also quietly strengthening your mind. Margaret always thought of herself as a light sleeper. At 72, she figured waking up a few times a night was just part of getting older. She'd fall asleep in front of the TV some nights, stay up late with a book on others, and occasionally take a nap during the day to make up for it. It didn't seem like a big deal, but over time her mind began to feel heavy. She couldn't focus as easily. She lost track of appointments, and sometimes she couldn't remember conversations from just the day before. Her doctor ran tests. Everything came back normal. But one question stood out. "Margaret, do you go to bed at the same time every night?" She paused. "Not really," she admitted. That's when the doctor explained. The brain loves rhythm, and few things protect it more than a consistent sleep schedule. As we age, the body's internal clock, called the circadian rhythm, becomes more sensitive. Irregular sleep disrupts melatonin production, hormone balance, memory consolidation, and even waste removal in the brain. Yes, your brain actually cleans itself at night. During deep sleep, a special system called the glymphatic system activates, flushing out toxins linked to memory loss and cognitive decline. But it only works well when you sleep deeply and consistently. Margaret took it seriously. She set a bedtime, 10:30 p.m., no more TV in bed, no more naps after 4 p.m. She created a routine, warm tea, soft music, lights dimmed. Within weeks, she wasn't just sleeping better, she was thinking better. Her words came easier, her focus returned, and she no longer felt like her brain was moving through fog. The best part? No pills, just rhythm. Because sometimes the most powerful way to care for your brain is simply honoring its need for rest, on time, every time. Eleanor never considered herself a journaler. She wasn't into diaries or long letters. But after turning 69, she started feeling scattered, like her thoughts were too fast, too fuzzy, or just hard to hold on to. She'd forget what she meant to say, lose track of ideas, and often, when emotions bubbled up, she couldn't quite name them. One evening, her granddaughter gave her a small notebook. "Just try writing a few things each day, Grandma," she said. "Not deep stuff, just whatever's in your head." Eleanor didn't think it would help, but the next morning she opened the notebook and wrote, "Didn't sleep well, worried I forgot to send the birthday card. Grocery list, why do I feel tense in the mornings?" Just a few lines, but something shifted. She wrote again the next day, and the next. Thoughts turned to words, worries turned to patterns, and gradually her mind began to feel clearer, less chaotic. What Eleanor was doing, without realizing it, was engaging in one of the brain's favorite habits: handwriting. Unlike typing, writing by hand activates fine motor control, spatial memory, and deep neural pathways. It slows the mind down just enough to process emotions, organize information, and build cognitive structure. Studies show that daily handwriting, even for 5 to 10 minutes, can improve memory, boost emotional regulation, and enhance brain connectivity in older adults. And journaling isn't just about tracking feelings. You can write goals, questions, gratitude, grocery lists, anything. The key is, use your hand, not just your head. Eleanor made it a ritual. Before bed, she wrote 5 lines, sometimes more. She noticed fewer racing thoughts, better sleep, sharper mornings. Her notebook became more than paper. It became a mirror, a gentle check-in with her own mind. Because when you write by hand, you give shape to your thoughts, and that in itself strengthens the brain. Walter started every day the same way: coffee, TV news, scrolling headlines on his phone, politics, crime, financial fears. By 9 a.m., his heart was racing, and he hadn't even left the house. At 74, Walter prided himself on staying informed. But lately, something felt wrong. He was more anxious, more forgetful. He'd reread the same paragraph 3 times and still not remember what it said. His son visited one weekend and gently asked, "Dad, have you ever thought about how much negativity you take in every morning?" Walter paused. "I never really noticed." What he didn't realize was this: your brain isn't just shaped by what you do, it's shaped by what you consume. Every headline, every angry video, every alarming story, they may feel like background noise, but to the brain, they're signals of threat. Chronic exposure to negative media, especially in older adults, has been linked to increased cortisol, the stress hormone. And over time, high cortisol can damage the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. It also affects emotional regulation, sleep quality, and even decision-making. Walter decided to try something different. He limited his news intake to 15 minutes a day, no more. He replaced his morning scroll with a walk, a podcast, or calling an old friend. He started ending his nights with soft music or reading historical fiction instead of doom scrolling. And within 2 weeks, the change was noticeable. He felt calmer, more present, less mentally exhausted. He wasn't ignoring the world. He was choosing to filter what entered his mind. Your brain is like a garden. If all you feed it is fear and outrage, don't be surprised when anxiety grows. Walter still watches the news, but now he balances it with joy, with learning, with connection. Because in the end, what you put into your mind is just as important as what you do with it. 7 people, 7 quiet habits, and one shared outcome, a sharper, calmer, more resilient mind. Joanne stepped into sunlight each morning. Harold chose a walk instead of a wait. Diane found her voice again, through conversation. Leonard carved clarity out of wood. Margaret gave her brain what it craved most, rhythm. Eleanor wrote her way back to herself. And Walter filtered the noise to find peace. None of them took a special pill. None followed a strict brain-boosting program. They simply made small, steady changes and trusted that their brains were worth the care. Because here's what we forget. Your brain isn't gone at 60. It's waiting for better fuel, for gentler rhythms, for creativity, connection, and calm. The most powerful protection doesn't come from supplements or shortcuts. It comes from showing up, every day in small ways for your own mind. So, where do you begin? Maybe it's a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's writing a few lines in a notebook tonight. Or maybe it's just choosing silence over another headline. Whatever you choose, start today. Because every small step is one more signal to your brain. I'm here. I care. I'm not giving up on you. Which habit spoke to you most? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe for more science-backed, story-driven health guidance made for real people over 60. Your brain has carried you through a lifetime. Now it's time to carry it, gently, wisely into what's next.